Hello and welcome to another CookeryCam, and today I'm going to be cooking fish pie. So that is about 3 generous handfuls of fish mix that I got from my local fishmonger's Griggs. Those of you that are friends on Facebook would have seen my regular posting of photographs from Griggs. It's a wonderful fishmonger's just down the road from where I live. A couple of onions there. One onion we're going to use to flavour the fish milk mix as it cooks. And the other one we're actually going to fry softly and then mix in with the mashed potato topping. So some white pepper, that's going to go in to season the fish mix. Parsley, that's going to be doing the same. 3 cloves of garlic, probably 1 in with the fish mix and then the other 2 probably in with the mashed potato topping. Maris Piper potatoes, so obviously that's going to be for the topping for the fish pie. 4 bay leaves. 4 quite small bay leaves. If they're bigger you could use 3 or could use 4 depending on your taste. Some frozen prawns which I'm going to defrost and then add to the fish mix. You could also use scallops, you could put pretty much whatever you like into this pie. If you're really feeling generous you could even use oysters or something like that. Some flour and butter for making a roux and the milk. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook the fish mixture in milk with the bay leaves and onion very gently and slowly, and then we're going to strain and reserve the milk and we're going to use that to make the roux, and then we're going to make a roux, put the fish back into it and the prawns, and then what I'm going to do, I've learned from experience that it's easier if you kind of make the fish filling first, put it into the pie dish you're going to cook it in and then leave it to cool, because then the roux thickens and that makes it much easier to put the mashed potato topping on. Otherwise the fish kind of mix is still very liquid and it's really hard, I find, or have found, to put the topping on. So we'll make the filling first and then we'll make the topping. So I'll get that underway and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so there's the fish mixture. It's in a pan big enough to hold it. I've covered it with milk. I've peeled the onion but left it whole and put it in. And in fact, on reflection, I might reuse that onion in the topping for reasons of frugality. It seems a shame to waste an onion. So the same onion I'm going to use to flavour the milk mixture would also go into the, I'll slice it very finely, fry it off gently and then put it into the mashed potato mix. 4 bay leaves are in there, and probably some black peppercorns are needed as well, so let's put those in right now. So what's that? That's probably about half a dozen black peppercorns in like that. That's all good, and I'm just going to cook that very, very gently until the milk comes to a very kind of gentle simmer. Probably by the time it does that the fish will be cooked, and then I'm going to strain it all off, remove the bay leaves, the black peppercorns, reserve the onion, and keep the fish and the sliced garlic clove. There's a sliced garlic clove in there as well, did I mention that? And yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'll be back in 10 minutes or so. Okay, so that's just coming up to a simmer now. You can see I've added some chopped parsley, probably about a tablespoon of chopped parsley. That incidentally is the pie bowl that it's going to go into, the pie dish. So again, one of the reasons I'm making the filling first is I put the filling in and then you can judge much better quite how much topping you will need. So I'm going to strain the fish mixture, remove the peppercorns and the bay leaves and obviously the onion, which I'll save for the topping. I'm going to save the milk when I strain it. I'm then going to make a roux with the milk, put the fish mixture back into the roux. I'm just about to put the prawns in, so they are still frozen but they will defrost in there. Should be okay. So just going to leave those in there. They should cook through thoroughly, so they should be all good, no problem with that. So I'm going to give that another 5 minutes, then probably strain it and I'll come back then. Okay, so I've strained the fish mix. There's the fish mix and there is the milk liquid. Which I'm going to pass through a sieve just to catch any black peppercorns that are in there. And I'm going to wait until the fish has cooled down a bit and then I'll burrow through and pull out the bay leaves. There are 3 but I'm missing a bay leaf, so there's 1 in there somewhere. And the black peppercorns. One obvious question, by the way, is what's in this fish mix? The answer is I'm not entirely sure. There's definitely some salmon in there, definitely some haddock, and I would guess probably some cod, some coley, some whiting, probably some of the cheaper white fish. I didn't actually ask what was in there when I bought it, to be honest, but it's a great fishmonger's, so I'm sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. So I'll wait for that to cool down and then I'll come back to make the roux. Okay, so there's the fish. I've gone through it. I've taken out all of the bay leaves, all of the black peppercorns I could find. If I miss 1 or 2, it's not the end of the world. There's the butter, so I'm going to take probably that much butter. And put put it in the pan. So I'm going to make a roux with butter, flour, bring that to cook that out, and then add the milk back in. There's the milk. So I'll strain that and remove any black peppercorns and stuff that are in the milk. So we're good to go. So we're going to make a roux. We're going to put the fish mixture back into it. And then we're going to put it into the pie dish. And then we'll leave it to set, and then we'll know how much topping we're going to need. So I'm just melting that butter now. When that's melted, can't really tell you how to make a roux. If you don't know, then try it a few times until you perfect your own method. I don't claim to be any kind of expert. My wife is actually much better than me at roux, but there you are. So I'm going to melt the butter, add the flour, make the roux. I'll come back then. So there's the bechamel, and as you can see, that's nice and thick. And I've seasoned that with a bit of white pepper, probably a quarter of a teaspoon of white pepper. And I'm just about to put in a generous pinch of sea salt. There we are, some sea salt in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the fish back into that now. Here's the fish going back in. Okay, and just carefully fold that in and stir it in. So it's all nicely amalgamated. I'll turn the heat off now because we don't really need the heat anymore. Because don't forget, this is going to be finished in the oven. So I'm just going to carefully try not to break the fish up too much. Mix all of that in. It's looking really good. I'll taste it for seasoning. Add a bit more if I need to. You could add some tarragon to this. My children don't like tarragon, which is why I haven't. But you could add some tarragon to this if you really wanted to. That would make it nice. Tarragon goes very well with fish and chicken. Right, so I'm going to spoon that into the pie dish and then leave it to set, and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's the fish pie filling. That's been sitting there for a couple of hours now, and as you can see, the white sauce has kind of firmed up the bechamel. So what we're going to do now is the topping. So there, you will remember, is the onion we used to flavour the fish mix when it was in the milk earlier. So I'm going to slice that very thinly and just cook that, sweat it off gently in some olive oil and some butter. 2 potatoes, peel those, they're nice pipers. Going to peel those, slice them and cook them. Going to mash them ultimately, and then put the sweated onion in as well. There's some parsley. Going to chop just the parsley leaves, not the stalks, and put those into the mashed potato mix. And 2 cloves of garlic are going to go in with the onion. So I'm going to cook the onion and the garlic, sweat it off, mix it with the potato, mash it all up, put the parsley in, season, spread over the top of the pie, and then it'll be ready to go into the oven. So I'll come back when it's kind of in progress. And there's the pie ready to go into the oven. So I mashed the potatoes with the sweated onion and garlic, added the parsley, added some butter and milk, mashed it all up, made it on the loose side, spread it over the filling that was already in there, and it was made much easier by the fact that I made the filling this morning, so it kind of set in the pie dish. And now I'm going to put that into a hot oven, about 180, 190 degrees Celsius for about half an hour. So I'll show you it when it comes out. And there we have it. That's piping hot, just come out of the oven. In the event, it was in for 40 minutes at 190 degrees. It's bubbling around the edges. That's how you know it's cooked through. It's slightly crusted on top, which is fantastic. And I'm just going to serve it very simply with green beans. So I'm going to go and eat that now, and I hope you try it. Enjoy.